was this incredibly beautiful photograph. I didn't like the image. It was a stock image of a bride with flowers. Did not appeal to me, but the process killed me. And I thought, once again, my life has just been changed. Very easy. I bought the machine. It was $124,000, and I was lucky enough to be able to afford it. Voided the warranty within the first 10 minutes. Didn't care. I knew instinctively that if I forced this machine to do what I wanted it to do, which was to print black and white and print photography brilliantly, it could really change the art world. There was a man called Al Lucchese, who was the president of Irish Graphics, was there, and I turned him to his machine and I said, "What are you seeing, Al?" He said, "I'm seeing 80% of the proofing industry." He goes, "Right. Turn around and look at me. What are you looking at?" He goes, "Two hippies from California." I said, "No, I'm telling you that if what I instinctively feel that this machine can do, you will make more money printing art than you will in the proofing industry." And that machine is now in the Smithsonian. Anyway, just about photography. My father was we were a very poor family from the north of England, and my father's great delight was he bought a camera from a friend of his at work, and he would take me and my sister. I had two sisters. Well, one passed away. I had two sisters, but this was before my youngest sister was born. So he would take me and my sister then out to the zoo, and he would shoot us with elephants and giraffes and stuff like that. And then he turned our bedroom. We had what was called a 2 up, 2 down, which meant that 2 small rooms downstairs and 2 small rooms upstairs. No toilet, no hot water, right? And he would turn my and my sister's bedroom. He would put up my blanket against the window to lock the light out. And he put a piece of paper. He'd already exposed it. He took a piece of paper into this colorless liquid, put it in, and he said, "Now wait." Wait, and I'm going, "Dad, come on, what?" I couldn't afford to watch, but I was, "Come on, what's going on? Wait." And then about 40 seconds later, seemed like hours to me, this image of this giraffe that my father had taken earlier that day came floating out of nothing. And that magic has stayed with me to this day. So that's how I got involved in photography.
Excellent. To what degree do you imagine that your passion in the photographic medium influences or informs your musical pursuits and vice versa?
I've been asked this question a lot. Because people want to know how a musician can take images. And to me, it's a silly question, actually, because to me, it's just energy. Where do I want to point my energy today? And it's one of the reasons that I never get blocked. People can't write and they say, "I've got a writer's block," or whatever. I never had that, because if I wasn't writing, then I'd just turn it and turn it to the part of my brain that collects things, or a part of my brain that sculpts marble, or a part of my brain that does woodcuts, or a part of my, I never get blocked in any way, because if I'm not writing, I'll just turn my energy to a different direction. So, I'll tell you something though. There's a very famous photograph that I used to own by Ansel Adams, and it's called Moonrise over Hernandez. It's a very famous image. Full moon over these mountains in wherever Hernandez is. I think it's New Mexico. Is it? And I swear, in the dark areas, I can hear the cellos, and in the gray clouds, I can hear violas, and in the light clouds, I can hear violins. There's a great correlation between music and imagery, and I'm lucky enough to be at the crossroads of both of them.
Has your photographic interests been passed down to your children? Are any of them into photography?
My kids are, the first thing that I can tell you about my kids is that they're very decent people. They have compassion. They're incredibly funny. My son Will is here with me tonight. Yes, they're all musicians, and yes, they're all brilliant. They're all funny, and every parent says the same thing. But I think the best thing that we can do is bring them into the world in the best way possible. My 29-year-old daughter, Nile, just like the river, is a midwife. Since she was 7 years old, that's all she wanted to do. I live on a very tiny island in the Pacific. I live in a rainforest. And most ladies have their babies at home. And I had a friend who was having a baby, and my wife, Susan, took Nile to attend the birth. And the Polaroids that were taken that night show everybody kind of freaking a little. You know, there's a lot of blood, a lot of fluids, and pain and grunting and stuff. But my daughter Nile has, the lady who was having the baby, has her hand in her hands and is staring directly into her eyes. She was 7 years old. And since that moment, she's wanted to be a midwife. And she graduated summa cum laude from UCLA with honors, and has a master's degree in science, is a registered nurse, and a registered certified midwife. And that's all she wants to do. My point is, if we can bring babies into the world in a less stressful way, I think it really affects the rest of their lives.
Speaking specifically about the Taking Aim exhibition, what appealed to you about the idea of curating an exhibit of rock and roll photography? And could you explain for us some of the challenges as well as some of the surprises, pleasant or otherwise, that you encountered along the way?
First of all, it's just a game, right? Life is a game, and I like to play it the best way I can with the most sense of humor, and I want as many people to be happy as possible. I'd like to be the best father, the best husband, the best friend. I never get there 100%, who does? But at least I'm trying. And in this particular case, there were actually, the only challenges were that I know that I've left out a million great photographs. I couldn't put them all in. But I was dealing with this, you know, when we were putting the exhibit together, and Jason Emmons from the Experience Music Project in Seattle, who was the first person to suggest to me this exhibit, said, you know, cool, you know, calm down. It's just your choices. And if you've left something out, so what? You can't put every single thing in. I went through literally thousands of photography books to choose these images. Surprises? I was surprised when I saw the photograph of Ray Charles playing the saxophone. That was kind of interesting. I'd never known that Ray Charles played sax. Did anybody here knew that Ray Charles was a great sax player? Oh yeah, sure. You do. There's always one in the audience. But there were no challenges. I never dictate how a show is hung. I'm always delighted and surprised to find out. You see, Jackie and Brooke and Rebecca and the rest of the staff know their space way more than I will ever know it. And they know how to hang the exhibit. So I never say, it has to be this way, it has to be that way. I don't put any of those demands on it. I want to see what you did creatively with this. And I'm thrilled. Look at this. I said at the press conference today, I'm a little anal, actually. Every house I go in, if there's a crooked picture, I gotta straighten it. It just, I don't like crooked pictures. I don't know how you feel about that, but I just don't like. And there isn't one image here that I want to square up. It's fantastic.
We worked really hard and carry our level around with us daily. That is all of the questions that I have. Once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for all of this. Our membership has grown because of your arrival here, and we're thrilled. And we're thrilled that you're so willing to share with us what you have done in photography. Now I would like to open it up to the audience. If they have any questions, Sarah will be able to get a mic to you so that we can hear your question, and I will allow you to choose whomever you wish to call on.
Right. Yes, sir, at the back there.
I would like to hear what you feel like makes or contributes to a great performance photograph.
I think one of the great things that I try to do here is show people the spectrum of energy in rock and roll. And it goes from a